Y nos encontramos sobre el parqué de la New York Stock Exchange. Ya hemos pasado la mitad del año 2013 y, por supuesto, la oleada de compañías latinoamericanas que se han estrenado aquí en el parqué de la Bolsa de Valores de Nueva York ha ido creciendo durante la primera mitad del año. Pero, por supuesto, tenemos que ver qué es lo que va a suceder a partir de ahora con toda la situación que está viviendo en estos momentos la economía mundial, también la economía de los mercados emergentes, y para ello nos encontramos con Alex Ibrahim, el director de la New York Stock Exchange, precisamente para esta área regional, para Latinoamérica y para el Caribe, que además se encarga de guiar a las distintas compañías latinoamericanas que se quieren estrenar aquí sobre el parqué de la New York Stock Exchange. Thank you, Alex, for being with us.
You're very welcome. Pleasure to be here.
So, first of all, I would like to know, we are in the middle of the year 2013. How is the IPO market for Latin American so far?
Well, so far it's been very interesting. We saw a transaction from Evertech, is a company based in the Caribbean region that priced very well this year, and we're looking for an incredible pipeline of deals, some of them already public, coming from countries such as Mexico, Peru, Colombia, and Brazil, and we also have a very strong pipeline of deals that are not public yet that they are targeting probably after the summer.
And also, after what happened yesterday with the Federal Reserve, we've seen like a kind of a bumpy road in the macroeconomic perspective for some of the Latin American countries, especially Mexico. But do you see like this kind of weakness translating into the corporate level to all those companies that want to start here or to base their IPOs here?
So far, no change. Companies are engaged. They are getting ready to reach the market on the road shows. Investors, still looking at Latin America. We're trading on average almost $4 billion a day of Latin American companies. So the demand is out there, and the companies are very engaged and ready to go to the market.
And what's attractive for you as investors about Latin American companies right now?
Growth. Opportunity. The region is growing. It's been growing for the last few years. We're seeing a lot of interest by U.S. investors to diversify the portfolio, to tap into markets that in the past they were not able to. So they're looking for new products. We trade 80 companies from LatAm. They are very diversified in terms of sector and also exposure to countries. But the investors are looking for other opportunities. Company in the tech space, retail, consumer goods, agribusiness. So we're going to be seeing more and more companies in those sectors coming to the U.S. market.
And what about the tech sector? Because apparently there's been a bunch of tech companies from Latin America trying to launch their IPOs here, already launched some of those IPOs. What about that sector?
There are many interesting companies out there from Brazil, Mexico, Chile. Some of them are considering coming to the US market, others probably in the near future. But this year, as I mentioned earlier, Evertech from Puerto Rico, which most of the revenues comes from Latin America, did a fantastic IPO, raising almost $500 million. So there are more out there. We're just going to see how the market evolves, and eventually they will be coming to the market.
And just a last question, for all those companies in Latin America that want to launch their IPOs here at the New York Stock Exchange, what's the process? How difficult it is, and what's the first steps that they have to do to launch their IPOs here in the US?
I think the first step is to make sure it's part of their strategy, because if a company wants to be publicly traded in the US, they want to make sure that's what they want to do, and they make sure they are ready to be in the US markets. Companies today, they have to comply with certain regulatory requirements here in the US. A little bit tricky, but it's not as problematic as in the past. The Jobs Act has been helping a lot of those companies to come here. We have most of the deals that are coming to the market, they are publicly and have been publicly announced. They're all using the Jobs Act. And a lot of countries in Latin America, they use IFRS. The US, the SEC accepts IFRS. So the process is much easier now than it was before.
So thank you, Alex.
Very welcome. It was a pleasure.
Y a nuestros lectores les recordamos que se den una vuelta por esta casa, NYSE.com, y también por www.eleconomistaamerica.com.